All right, welcome back to Boring Reviews. Nick here.
Jodi there.
And even though it's my birthday, I would rather do nothing else than spend time with you, learning about the great country that we come from, the United States of America. I know a lot of you are rolling your eyes as I say that. It's okay. There is some truth to it. Jodi, what are we checking out today?
The don'ts of visiting the USA. And I am super excited to see what he has to say and how accurate it'll be.
Yes, this is a little bit of a longer video, but we just posted the don'ts of visiting England from Wolter's World. We've enjoyed his channel. He's got a lot of good insights and whatnot. He travels around. But there was a few comments talking about how like the food in England gets a bad rap. They think it's really, really good. Stereotypes. But one comment had said that this particular channel kind of feeds into those stereotypes, even though he's been there. So I thought, let's check out this channel, or this video right here, and let's look at it from the other side. As Americans, seeing what are the don'ts of visiting here. And then afterwards, we'll have a little discussion, maybe even throughout, about whether, yeah, that's true, no, it's not, whatever. We're going to get into it. If you like our reaction in any way, please don't forget to
like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so we can be aware of your next uploaded videos. Nope. You can be aware of our upload videos. Strike, reverse,
someone's got to.
And we say that.
And if you can't see, she has a little injury here. Won't get into it. She's okay. You know, the easy joke.
Dying with the pain.
That too. The easy joke is like she said no to me, but no, that's not funny. Domestic abuse. Even I won't go there. Usually. Here we go.
Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Wolter's World, and today we're in Mystic, Connecticut, in a beautiful place here in the U.S. And today what we have for you are the don'ts of visiting the U.S. because anywhere you go in the world, there's things you should do, but there's also things you shouldn't do. And this video is going to just cover the U.S. in general, okay? And our first don't for when you visit the U.S. is don't touch the Americans. Look, Americans really like their personal space. It's like they have a bubble around them, and if you get too close to them, they feel very, 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 very uncomfortable, okay?
I'm just going to start right there. And he is spot on about that. Especially being in a very tourist-heavy city. We do have people from different cultures, and they'll stand like really close to you in line. Or even if we go to Disneyland, and they're like right there. And you're like, no, I have a bubble. Like, I need my space.
I'm definitely one of those that likes a bubble. I get annoyed. But I don't know if this is true about all Americans. I'm going to have to maybe say, not so fast. Some absolutely. Because there's a lot of friendly people. You got to remember, America is a melting pot. It's got so many different cultures, so many different second, third, fourth generation folks from where their grandparents or parents are from different countries. But I am definitely that way. If I'm in the line at the grocery store, people love to get their cart. People get too close, in my opinion. They love to get their cart on me. I'm like, dude, I want my space. I don't say it because I'm trying to be polite. I don't like personal space. It's funny because this next picture right here says even my dad doesn't like me this close.
Yeah.
My kids and my wife, yes, but I'm definitely that way. I tell my students every single year, I'm not a hugger, which I think is a good thing, by the way. We can do fist bumps all day long. We can do high fives, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so make sure you give them a little distance when you are there, you know, because I know when I go to Italy and Spain and stuff, be like, Mark, how's it going? All this stuff. And my American friends sometimes go, wow, they're really affectionate. Like, that's just how it is. Here, space is key. The second don't I have for you is don't count on public transportation. Yeah. Look, when we were in China and we were throughout Europe and South America, we took buses and trains and planes and all kinds of stuff to get all over the place because public transport is really developed. Here in the U.S., you cannot count on public transport to get you a lot of places. Yes, in big cities like New York and Chicago and stuff like that, you can get around with public transport and it'll take you where you want to go. But a lot of towns, small towns especially, and middle-sized cities, the public transportation networks are not very good. And at night, sometimes it's not very safe. So that is kind of a frustrating thing. So yes, you're going to probably have to rent a car when you come here, okay? Uber. So just have a heads up for that. And that kind of leads into the next don't I have for you is don't underestimate the size of the U.S. The United States, it's, you know, continental U.S. is like continental Europe. It's huge. I mean, would you think of driving from, I'm going to do, you know, from Lisbon to Paris and then go up to Tallinn and then head down to Sofia? No, you're like, that is insanely far. It's the same thing when you come to the U.S. I meet a lot of travelers that are like, oh, I'm going to fly into New York, grab a car, drive down to Miami to see Miami Beach, and then head over to L.A. I'm like, dude, you got 2 weeks? You're going to spend the entire time in cars. The distances here are insane. So what I recommend is picking a region. So, we're going to stay here in New England and see New England. Yeah. Or we're going to go in the southeast, go to Atlanta and Savannah and Charleston, things like that, or visit the West Coast. You do that to get a better idea of the culture there and things like that. But also, it's just the logistics things because it's so far between the places. And to go along with that, for Americans, a 3 to 4 hour drive, that's a day trip. Like, my parents live 3 hours away. I will literally get up, go drive, have lunch with my mom, and then drive back home just for lunch. 6 hours in the car. No big deal. It's about 7 hours when we start to think, that kind of is a long drive. And we drive the entire way through. Okay, this isn't like, I must stop every 2 hours and have a 15-minute break. Oh, no. No. We drive all the way through, okay? Now, my next don't for you when you come here is don't think that the sticker price is the end price. Look, in the U.S. we have sales tax. I know other countries, they have VAT, value-added taxes. They're already put into the price of products. So when you see, it's $1 or €1, I only pay €1. In the U.S., it is not like that. We have sales tax, so a certain percentage is added onto that product. And the thing is, I cannot tell you what the sales tax will be where you're going to travel because it's different everywhere. Cities, states, counties, different products have different sales taxes.
It's just like a surprise. It's like, okay, this is cost, and it gets me almost every single time. My entire life I've been in the U.S. I'll see someone on Amazon like, it's only $25. I have a $25 gift card. This is perfect. Why is it $30? Oh yeah, because the sales tax and that's also probably shipping as well.
But we've taught our kids that too. I'm always counter in a few dollars for sales tax. It's not going to be that amount. You gotta, whatever the money is you have to plan. Depend on how much you're spending, several dollars underneath it. Yeah. Could be anywhere from 2 to 10.
It really sucks. I remember being younger, old enough to walk around with my friends during the summertime, but still pretty young and naive. I had $1. Go to McDonald's, they had 99-cent hamburgers. I say, cool, I want to get one. They said it's going to be $1.07. And that was my first introduction. What do you mean $1.07? It says 99 cents. I didn't have the 7 cents, and they didn't give it to me. Usually places will be like, I got a few cents, you're okay, right? Or someone in line will give it to you. But yeah, that was my first experience. I'm like, this tax stuff sucks.
And some products don't have sales taxes. Some cities don't have sales taxes. Some have 10% sales tax. It can be different anywhere you go. So if you're going to go get your dollar menu item at a McDonald's or a Culver's or a wherever, it's not going to be $1. Where I live, there's 2 cities right by where I live. One, it's going to be $1.08. The other one, it's going to be $1.09. So be ready for that. And it's not just the sales tax. Also, there could be the tipping on top. And that leads us into the 5th don't, and that is don't forget to tip. Look, in the U.S., you tip 15 to 20% at a sit-down restaurant, okay?
I'll even correct that. Tipping 15% is an insult. It's a minimum of 20.
It's 20%. I used to work at a restaurant, and the reason why we say 20%, and a lot of people comment, they tipped a lot for crappy service because the waiters and waitresses, I got my minimum wage, but that went all towards taxes for the tips I had to claim. And I had to tip out 7% automatically when I worked at the restaurant, no matter what happened. So that means I only got 13 of that 20. If I got 15%, that means I'm only getting 8%, which that's my entire income I'm bringing in. So yeah, 20% if it's garbage or okay. We might even go more if it's nicer because you're thinking about the person, the waiter themselves. You're not thinking about the restaurant.
That's their income. So the service that they gave you, did they bring the food to you? Did they give the drinks to you? And if it was crap, 20%. Yeah. If it was good, up it.
The greediness is ridiculous.
Yeah. And you could almost anywhere you go now, you tip too. I mean, you go buy cookies and they put the cookies in the box for you.
And you tip up. That's getting ridiculous. I went to Auntie Anne's at the mall and they're like, "Oh, don't forget this screen. How much do you want to tip?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
You're just handing me the pretzel.
Yeah. It's tipping everywhere now. It's out of control.
Now, McDonald's, stuff like that, no, you don't tip at a fast food place, but if it's a sit-down restaurant where they bring you your food and stuff like that, you will tip them 15 to 20%. If you are in a group of 6 people or more, sometimes they automatically put the gratuity on there, which sometimes can be 18% or something like that. Look, when you come to the U.S., there's a reason why the food is so affordable. You're like, wow, it's cheap to go out and eat in the U.S. It's because there's kind of this understanding that the service fees and paying for the workers and the waitresses and stuff like that, that goes goes on to you, the person eating there, with the tips. So the food and stuff can be cheaper when you go out to eat. And I know a lot of people say, I don't believe in tipping, and this tipping isn't the right thing. They should pay their people more. Well, if you want to pay more for your food, they can do that. But they don't, okay? So tipping is something we do here in the U.S., so do tip that 15 to 20%. Oh, also, if you're at a bar and you're buying drinks, you're gonna wanna tip a couple dollars here and there. Otherwise, the bartender might not be too quick to come back and get you your next drink. So following off of those tips, what you need to realize is our next don't is don't be freaked out by the over-the-top service and free stuff you sometimes get in the U.S. Look, because of tipping and commissions and stuff like that, yes, there is a lot of over-the-top service here. But the thing is, in the U.S., the people actually are pretty nice and they want to help people. And sometimes for some travelers, if they come from countries where people don't get a lot of service sometimes, it can be a bit much, so don't freak out about it. Also with that is don't be freaked out with some of the free stuff you get when you go to restaurants. Look, if you go to a restaurant and they bring you bread and water or chips and salsa and all those really good things, that's included in your meal. Okay, so if you're going to be buying something, they're going to give you some free stuff. It might be some bread, it might be a salad, it might be a water, it might be something like that. So don't be like shocked when like, wait, I didn't order this bread, I didn't order this salad. Oh no, that comes with your meal, okay? Now the thing is though, you can't just go in and get chips and salsa and walk out, all right? You actually have to order some food when you go there. Now my next don't for you is don't smoke cigarettes in the U.S. If you're smoking cigarettes in the U.S., people will look at you like you're trying to kill their baby. Cigarettes is like totally verboten, like people really frown upon it, which is funny because when they talk about marijuana and stuff like that, people don't seem to care as much, but cigarettes, oh, you're trying to kill my baby with that cigarette 2 blocks away. So if you...
Iffy.
Yeah, there's some middle ground there.
There are smoking areas, and you can go and smoke there, and nobody's going to look twice at you.
No one's going to say anything to you.
Nobody's going to say anything to you.
You'll get an occasional person, like if you're sitting there and you're just blowing it right in someone's face, I would say maybe like 2 out of 10 people would say something. Most people just kind of walk away.
Yep. But he's right about the marijuana. You just smell that everywhere. That's everywhere.
And the acceptance as well. The thing that's cracked down that maybe he's talking about is the public places. We live here in Las Vegas, loud of casinos, right? Used to be you walk in, you're going to get smoke all over your clothes when you walk out. They have smoking areas, but most of the casinos are all non-smoking, hotels non-smoking, so that kind of stuff is what he's probably talking about.
Yeah.
But you have smoking out in public, and what are you going to do? If you're a smoker, you got to smoke somewhere.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. Did you want to add something?
Nope, we're good.
If you do smoke, make sure you try to find a place where you can smoke, because a lot of restaurants, or pretty much all restaurants, hotels, stuff like that, have smoke-free. It's smoke-free, so you got to go like 15 to 20 feet away from doing things, so that can be something. So I've come here outside my favorite liquor store to give you the next don't, and that is don't try to buy alcohol unless you're 21 or cigarettes unless you're 18 or over in the US. They will not sell them to you. And the thing is, don't forget your ID, because if you look like you're
even
40
if you're 50,
or under, they may ask you for that. And don't get mad at them, because if they don't ask, they could get in trouble and get fined. So don't be surprised, because we've had friends that have come here, try to buy alcohol, and they're like, sorry, you don't look old enough. Oh, I don't have my ID. Too bad. And the thing is, it's not just the person buying. They might ask anybody with you, so make sure everybody has their ID if they want to buy liquor, or they want to buy, they want to buy alcohol, or if they want to buy cigarettes. So just FYI on that one. Oh, that's also another don't I have for you is don't bother with a metric system when you come here. We don't use, we don't use meters, we don't use kilometers, we don't use liters. It is inches, feet, miles, gallons, pounds, things like that. And I'll put a conversion chart here to show you. But honestly, you may say, hey, how far is it to this next town? And they'll tell you, oh, it's like 60 miles. You're like, what's that? Just know 60 miles, it's about 100 kilometers, okay? So just do that, because the people here won't get it. I mean, I have people, when I'll tell them, oh, it's 100 meters away, they're like, 100 meters? It's like 100 yards. Oh, okay. So make sure you do know your imperial system, okay? Because metric, we don't do that so much here. So our next don't is when you do come to the U.S., there's a couple things you don't talk about, okay? 1 is gun control, and 2 is politics, because no matter where you are, you will get people on either side of the spectrum, and they will have an argument with you. So it's best just to lay off those topics, talk about the weather. Oh, wouldn't it be nicer if it was sunny today and we could go sailing? Yes, that would be much better than discussing gun control or politics. Just putting that one out there for you right now.
100%.
Now my next don't for you is don't.
And even if you think, like, there's times where I try to be, wise guy, a lot of times, right? And I'm just like, my personality will like calm things down. No, if you strike a nerve with anyone, then you're gonna walk away like ticked off, feeling awkward. I probably shouldn't have said anything at all. And no one likes to be told don't do something, but he's right. There's just no point.
Nope.
There's no point.
Nope.
Or politics. Just putting that one out there for you right now. Now, my next note for you is don't assume that all the U.S. and all the Americans are the same. Because I know a lot of people say, oh, you're a typical American. Well, it's like saying you're a typical European. Look, the U.S. has all kinds of different cultures, all kinds of different people, all kinds of different topography and scenery and stuff like that. And when you come here, don't assume it's all the same. You will see regional differences in cuisines and how people treat each other and how everything looks, all kinds of stuff. So don't just think there's just one kind of American. They're all fat, slobby guys with ponytails. No, there's actually a lot of skinny people in America too, not just fat guys like me and my buddy Jeff. There are those. So don't assume it's all the same, all right? So do go out and explore. And that's why I always say is if you're going to come to the U.S., go and explore different regions because you'll get a really different feel. Because going to the southeast and seeing the plantation homes and going to see the southern towns down there versus going to the northwest and Seattle and Portland or going to San Francisco or going to the Midwest with Chicago and Milwaukee, you're going to have a very different feel, which is really a cool thing to do. And you start to understand is, wow, the U.S. does have a lot of different cultures within it, a lot of different feelings when you go around here.
Not just that, but you have friendlier people in different areas. Like New York, not so friendly. Not that they're rude, they're just...
And that's the stereotype.
That's the stereotype, but they're on their mission, they're ready to go, like, they're busy,
See, that never sleeps.
Yes, you're going to find people who are friendly. I mean, we've been there, but it's not like certain areas. I mean, because I feel like here where we are, people are pretty friendly. I mean, you can strike up a conversation at the grocery store. You're still going to have your grumpy people.
Yeah.
But yeah, different areas you have, it kind of changes on the friendliness and whatnot too.
Yeah, my brother used to live in D.C. and his wife at the time was on a phone call. She had said that, people in D.C., they're all unfriendly. And I'm like, come on, never been there myself. But she was adamant. I know nobody. You go to fast food, you go any place, like the customer service is horrible, and that's unfortunate. So you are gonna have some places, from what I hear, but you have weirdos everywhere in every country, in every city, right? Jerks, weirdos, all that kind of stuff.
And following on with that, I guess I would say another don't assume there's no culture in the U.S. because there are a lot of cultural centers out there. If you go down to New Orleans, you see a very rich culture there. You go to New York or Boston. Here in New England, you have a very distinct culture. In the Midwest with Chicago, Milwaukee, you go to the West Coast. I mean, there's a lot of different culture here. Historic culture with the Native Americans or more recent culture here. I mean, you have all that here you can really take in. And saying there's no culture in the U.S., it's not really true because there are all these different cultural centers with great museums like the Art Institute of Chicago or the Met in New York, the Getty in LA. There's all kinds of stuff you can see and do when you are here. For a cultural trip, it's not just seeing beautiful landscapes and seascapes like we are here in Connecticut. There's a lot more to it than that. Now, my next don't for you is one that I kind of get a lot of questions about. We actually have a video on this, and then that is, don't think that how are you or how's it going is actually a question. Look, when we say how's it going, how are you, these kind of things in the U.S., it's not a question, it's a statement. It's like saying hi. Okay, just take it as a hi. Because a lot of people say, everyone asks me how I'm doing. When I try to tell them how I'm feeling, they're like, well, I was just saying, how are you? Here, how are you is just hi. Think of it that way. It's like in France, ça va, ça va. How's it going? How's it going? We're good to go. In Portuguese, tudo bem, everything good. You answer back, tudo bem, everything good. It's just, how are you? How are you? You move on, okay? So don't think it's an actual question, all right? Now, another don't I have for you is don't expect a lot at the fancy hotels. You're thinking, oh, I'm going to pay more money for this hotel. I'm probably going to get nicer stuff, like a nicer breakfast, better Wi-Fi. Oh, no. For some reason in the U.S., it seems like the nicer the hotel, the more you have to pay for the things that you think would be free, like Wi-Fi and breakfast. So don't feel like you have to stay at the fancy hotels, because honestly, if you're going to be going out and exploring, you just need a couple beds, right? So stay at the hotels in the U.S., and the cheaper ones will give you free Wi-Fi, free breakfast, all these kind of things, which is really nice, so don't expect that from the fancy hotels. Another don't I have for you is don't skip out on the local food. Look, we're here in New England. We're here in Connecticut. We've been having lobster and clams and, oh my God, New England clam chowder. Oh, my tummy is just like, more. It's fantastic. When I'm in the South, man, Southern fried chicken, mac and cheese, barbecue. Oh my God. The food in the different regions in the U.S. are great. So don't just go to chain restaurants. When you go to your hotel, ask them, hey, what's some local restaurants around here? What's some locally owned and operated restaurants, so you can go there and check out those places, because they really give you a great experience. And I find a lot of times those ones actually have better service than the chain restaurants, because it's a mom and pop place where the owner is the ones helping you out, and that is really kind of a cool thing. Now my next don't for you is don't get sick. Look, healthcare in the U.S. is insanely expensive. And just because you come from another country doesn't mean they're not going to find you for the bill. All right? So if you're going to be coming here, make sure you get travel insurance or trip insurance, so in case you do get sick, or you do break an ankle, or you do break an arm, or something happens to you, your insurance will cover it. Now, you might have to pay it first and your insurance pays you back, but at least you'll get something back, because healthcare here in the U.S. is insanely expensive, okay? So make sure you're prepared for that. And I guess my last don't I'm going to have for you is one that people actually got mad at me for when I lived in other countries, when I told them the U.S. has 50 states. And they said, no, the U.S. has 52 states. Look, don't think the U.S. has 52 states. The U.S. has 50 states, okay? Just a heads up on that one. I'm sure that people are going to be commenting down below that when I was in school, they told me 52. No, there's 48 on the mainland, and then Alaska and Hawaii are 49 and 50, all right? So those are our don'ts for visiting the U.S. What are some of the don'ts you have for the U.S.? Because I know there's more out there. I just want to get some of these out there to help out travelers heading to the U.S., just so we can get things going. Anyway, if you like videos like this, we have stuff on what the don'ts of going to Russia, the don'ts of going to Germany, the don'ts of going to Brazil and things like that. And we really like helping travelers with honest travel advice. So if you like this video, do click that subscribe button. It means a lot to us, and we put new travel videos out every Wednesday and Saturday to help great travelers just like you. So I'll say bye from Connecticut and have a great time in the U.S., because don't worry, you will. It's a fantastic place.
Okay, I just have to say is that he's 100% right on the hotels. But if you were to ever come to Vegas, I would stay at one of the expensive hotels on the Strip, because it is an experience. You just gotta
typically get a better view.
You get a better view. You're right there in the middle of the action.
Closer to some of the,
everything. You can just walk to everywhere if you're specifically looking at the Strip. But he's right. You're gonna pay for all your meals. Nothing's free. Yeah. I mean, even they'll fill up water bottles in the mini fridge, and you pay for those water bottles.
Yeah,
you pay
it's
to
all
use the
full.
fridge.
You open and take one thing out, it's gonna cost like $5.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's amazing, because we've said many times before that we don't drink alcohol. Like, I try to imagine what would our finances be if we were just, regular Americans who even drank as well, because even that's more expensive. He was right on, I would say, like 95, 97% thing. And the other ones, I might kind of be really nitpicky, because just like someone not from the U.S., I've been living here my whole life. I don't know how everyone's preference is, because everyone's so different. But he did a really, really good job. So hats off to him. Everything he said was pretty much spot on. There was a few things I wanted to mention, but I already forgot about them, obviously. But there's places in the U.S., talk about how big it is, that we've never even been. Never been to Connecticut, never been to Maine. We were in New York. We never went to Boston, which is really, really close there. Never went to Philadelphia. A lot of places we haven't been before. And that's one thing that maybe he didn't mention right here. I don't know how you would do it on a don't, but we are always busy. We're always working. So maybe don't come over and think that your American friends are going to have all the time in the world, because we're not.
They're always working. It's true. I would say another thing is don't think the entire country has the same weather, because our weather is like way, way, way different and crazy. I mean, if you're going to be up in Seattle, Portland, Washington, and Oregon, depending on which side you're on. If you're on the west coast of Washington and Oregon, you're going to get a lot of rain. But if you're on the east side, it's drier. It just kind of depends. And Northern California's cold, Southern California's warm. It's just...
Well, it does rain a lot on the East Coast too, on the east side.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about East Washington and East Oregon.
Gotcha,
it doesn't rain that much. But yes, the East Coast is the United States. Rains.
So much green.
Humid, lots of humidity, I was going to say.
Yeah, humidity, you're right. I remember one thing, I was just kind of clicking back right there. is it just the U.S. that we are superstitious about the 13th floor? Like, I personally could care less about it. I'll stay on the 13th floor. I'm not worried about it. But so many hotels, I can't tell you how many. Now, obviously, it's a 13th floor, but they call it the 14th floor. They won't put it on, like he showed right there, the elevator buttons or whatever. Is that just a U.S. thing, or are other countries superstitious like that? Just curious. But yeah, I mean, you watch a video like this, and if you don't know, you're thinking, oh, man, there's so many don'ts, this or that. All places, I would imagine, have those. You're just used to it. You're used to staying away from this or that. Last thing I want to say about this, the personal space, even though I kind of disagree with that a little bit, don't expect to have long conversations with people. And it kind of goes in with his, how you doing? I always answer that with good, how are you? That's kind of a polite way to do that, and you just keep walking. But you're at a doctor's office, and you mention something like, oh, you got a cute kid, or they fall down and they make a funny noise, and you kind of laugh and talk to the parent. They're going to think you're a weirdo 9 out of 10 times. Like, just don't even bother. Some people, and you can kind of get the social cues if you're good at conversations to see, this is someone I can talk to. But I can't tell you how many times I felt so awkward saying hi to someone, asking them a question, not always about their kids, about whatever, or we're watching TV in the news and something happens and I mention something, like kind of a joke about it, and they just kind of like literally just keep going back to their book. And you're thinking to yourself, how do you just ignore someone? Happens more than you think.
Yeah. People don't just pick up on conversation often. It's true.
They just don't want to talk.
No, they don't want to talk.
To random people.
And I think it's like we're not very trusting in nature.
Yes.
We are not a trusting country. And I think it's just because there's so many scams out there, and everybody's like, what are you trying to get me for?
The scams have everyone on high alert. But thank you so much for watching our reaction to this video. Let us know, what are some other videos maybe you want us to watch to kind of get our perspective as Americans? How is it like this or that? This was a great one. We appreciate the channel, Wolter's World, for not throwing us a copyright strike. Appreciate that. And for the content, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time.
Goodbye.